त्वमादिदेवः पुरुषः पुराणः त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परम निधानम वेत्तासि वेद्यम च परम च धाम त्वया ततं विश्वमनंत रूप। वायु यमः अग्निवर्णः शशांकः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहस्य नमो नमस्तेस्तु सहस्रकृत्वा पुनश्च भूयोपि नमो नमस्ते। You are primeval God, the primordial spirit. You are the ultimate shelter of the universe. You are knower, the knowable, and supreme abode. The universe is fully pervaded by you, being of infinite forms. You are the God of wind, God of death, God of fire and water, the moon god, and great grandfathers of beings. Salutation to you, salutation thousands times, and again we salute to you, Honorable Lord Krishna. In last session, I have described the names of commentators, and now this session is also on the subject of commentators description. And next commentator of the Bhagavad-Gita is Shri Dhupkar Shastri, wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-Gita by name Shubhudani. He described the Advait philosophy of Adi Shankaracharya, and he was the follower of Advait tradition. He also gave a service of Bhagavad Mahapurana by name of Shubhudani Bhasya. He was a scholar of Vedic tradition. Next commentator, Sri Purushottam. He was born in 1668 and died in 1781. The Vallabhacharya follower, Mr. Purushottam Shastri, wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-Gita to define Pushti Marga. Pushti Marga is a doctrine, and I want to describe about Pushti Marga in other time. Next name of the commentator of Bhagavad-Gita is Sri Raghavendra Tirtha, wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-Gita by name of Arth Samagram to establish Dvaita Siddhanta, Dvaita tradition. This is most important commentary to define the Dvaita tradition. Next commentator, Sri Banmali Mishra, was born in 1683, was a learned person, was a follower of Sri Madhvacharya. He wrote a prominent commentary on Bhagavad-Gita by name of Gita Gurarth Chandrika, and established the Dvaita Vedanta tradition. Next, most important commentator on Bhagavad-Gita is Sri Bal Gangadhar Tilak. He was born in 1856 and died in 1920. Was a freedom fighter and nationalist teacher and independence activist, and he also wrote a prominent commentary on Bhagavad-Gita by name Gita Rahasya. Gita Rahasya is very prominent commentary and depend on Karma Yoga, action of Karma Yoga, action of yoga. And the commentary is very popular in learned people, and he is very important personality of India. And he was friend of Honorable Father of the Nation, Mr. Mahatma Gandhi. Shri Vinoba Bhave, next commentator. He was born in 1895 and was died in 1982 in Paunar Ashram. Was the follower of Mahatma Gandhi, and he was a great sant. He started Bhudan Yagya program in India and distribute the land among the poor farmers after donation of land by Jamidar. He also wrote a commentary on Srimad Bhagavad-Gita and tried to define the particular facts and manners of Bhagavad-Gita by name of Gita Pravachan. Really, Mr. Vinoba Bhave was a great sant of India. Next commentator name, Honorable Father of the Nation, Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He was born in 1849 and 1869, and he died in 1948. Our Father of the Nation, Mr. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, most follower of Bhagavad-Gita. He follows Ahimsa Path, non-violence path. He also have a book on Bhagavad-Gita in his hand and try to follow the Bhagavad-Gita doctrine. He also wrote a book on Bhagavad-Gita to describe the knowledge of Gita as Anasakti Yog book in Gujarati language, and Mr. Mahadev Desai translated the commentary of Mahatma Gandhi in English version. Next name of the commentator, Shri Aurobindo. Shri Aurobindo is the great sant of India, and he was born in 1872 and died in 1950 in Pondicherry. Shri Aurobindo was an Indian saint, philosopher and teacher and yoga guru. He wrote a book on Bhagavad-Gita, essay on Gita. He established Arvindashram and follows Bhagavad-Gita discipline. He also wrote many books and called Maharishi Aurobindo. Maharishi Aurobindo is well-known name in the spiritual list of India. Next name of commentator, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He was born in 1888 and died in 1975 in Chennai, and was second president of our nation and great learned person, thinker and philosopher. He wrote a book on Bhagavad-Gita by name Bhagavad-Gitas. The Bhagavad-Gita sacred song holds an isolated place among the world's great scriptures. Hindu regard is with the some respect and love, very with regard, and it is as same as Gospel Injil. This is the speak of, this is thought of Honorable Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Next commentator on Bhagavad Gita is Swami Chinmayananda, and he was founder of Chinmay Mission, and he was born in 1916 and he died 1993 in California. Was a great saint of India. He founded the Chinmay Mission, a most spiritual organization, and it is spread in whole India and also abroad. And Bhagavad Gita knowledge in world he spread. He was belonged to Advaita Vedanta tradition. He wrote a spiritual and most important commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Chinmayananda Saraswati, a great spokesman of Bhagavad Gita in English version. Now, his Chinmay Mission is also working in India and in foreign successfully. He was well known knower of Upanishad. He was knower of Upanishad. Next commentator of most important commentator of Bhagavad Gita is Swami Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada Ji Maharaj, as founder of ISKCON. He was born in 1897 and died in 1977 in Vrindavan. Was a founder of ISKCON, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, Krishna Bhavana Amrit Sangha. This society is working to spread the Bhagavad Gita knowledge in entire world, and Prabhupada wrote a prominent commentary on Bhagavad Gita as it is, or that is to be said in Hindi, Yatha Roop. The copies of the commentary is distributed in whole world in large numbers. More than 55 languages this commentary book is translated and is available now in whole India. And he also done a great work of Mahabharat Puran. He wrote 18 volumes of Bhagavad Puranam, and it is the most important work of Honorable Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ji Maharaj. Next commentator in my list, Mr. Mahesh Yogi, is a prominent saint of India, and he was born in 1918 and died in 2008. Was a famous yoga guru and popularizing for meditation. He established a worldwide organization. Mr. C. Ravi Shankar is disciple of Honorable Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. Many religious books and many scriptures he has written. He worked for human welfare. Mahesh Yogi also presented a partial English translation on Bhagavad Gita in 1966. Next commentator in my list, Mr. Ramana Maharishi. The that is to be said also Ramana Maharishi was a great saint of India, and he was born in 1879 and died in 1950 in Tiruvannamalai. Tiruvannamalai was a great Indian saint. He was famous as Bhagwan Brahmana Maharishi, was a well defined 42 sloka of Bhagavad Gita. And he presented 42 slok of Bhagavad Gita in order and systematic process. And these slok are very important. And I want to define this slok, 42 slok presented by Maharishi Rama after the name of commentators. Next name in my list of commentators, Mr. Swami Mukundananda, and he was born in 1960. He is a spiritual leader and author. He is disciple of Kripalji Maharaj. He also wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-Gita and written many books on Vedic subjects. Next name, important name of the commentator list, Mr. Syama Charan Lahiri, or the Lahiri Mahasaya. He was born in 1828 and died in 1895. Was a disciple of Mahavatar Baba and was an Indian yogi and guru of disciple of Kriya Yoga. Lahiri Mahasaya was a great saint of India, and he was guru of Sai Baba. He wrote a prominent commentary on Bhagavad Gita in 3 volumes. It is said his commentary is most important as Sankar Bhasya, which is written by Honorable Adi Shankaracharya. Mr. Jayadal Gundaka was born in 1885 and died in 1965, was a founder of most prominent Gita Press, Gorakhpur. He was this person and he has written many books and also written a commentary on Bhagavad Gita in question and answer form. And his Vedic, he worked for Vedic Sanatana Dharma and also a great thinker and also great philosopher. He worked very much for the Vedic Sanatana Dharma, scriptures publication. Next name, important name in the list of commentator, Swami Ram Sukdas Ji Maharaj, and great commentator of Bhagavad Gita. He was born in 1905 and died in 2005. Was a prominent sannyasi of India and high-level Vitaragi Sant. He was a great sant and philosopher. He wrote a very important commentary book on Bhagavad Gita, that is to be said Sadhak Sanjeevani Tika. And I have read this book in many times, and this is a great commentary on Bhagavad Gita and very important, and he describes the many important facts on Bhagavad Gita in many times. And other some important commentator in India, Mr. Swami Akhandanand Saraswati. He wrote a commentary book on Bhagavad-Gita by Yathartha Gita. And now Mr. Janana Saraswati, Swami Janana Saraswati, Gita Manishi, has also wrote a commentary on Bhagavad-Gita and working to spread the Bhagavad-Gita knowledge in whole India and abroad. These are some names of commentators of India, and I have described some important names of